Hey, everybody. Guess what? It's time for something way more important than Poolside Podcast York. Do you know what's more important than Poolside Podcast York, even though it is maybe my favorite thing in the world to do? And you know what? It is my favorite thing in the world to do. I'll be honest. I love it so much. It's so nice to have just such a wonderful outlet for all of my creative energy. You know, it's one of those things where um I don't even know, honestly. It's one of those things where if I sit down and I try to write, it gets to be one of those things where I'm handwriting by pen and it's really annoying. And my brain, my silly impulsive brain sits and writes and writes and writes and I feel like I'm getting nowhere because I'm getting somewhere and the thoughts are always processing and all that fun stuff, like the next podcast project that's still a secret. Still a secret. But thanks, Mike Sheldon. It's all your fault, buddy. So there's this thing going on right now that you might be hearing about as the holiday week comes to a close, the holiday weekend, this delightful fucking weekend. It's been super fun. 3 days off straight, and I finally came up into the library and sat down to annoy myself and talk into a microphone alone. But there's something going on right now that you have access to. It's a wonderful thing. It's the way that you download this podcast. It's the way that you watch this on YouTube. It's the internet. And the repeal of net neutrality is going to be fucking devastating. Not from a standpoint of, oh my goodness, I love to turn on YouTube and leave it play in the background, turn my phone off, and just have it on my speakers at work telling me conspiracy theories all day. It's not the simplicity of just the need for entertainment. Obviously, the internet is one of the most entertaining things in the entire world. And the reason is because us, as modern Americans, we have the ability to be bored to fucking death. Excuse me. But the thing is that when I was younger, okay, I dealt with some weird shit. I dealt with knowing that my little dial-up connection had to be dialed in and do that fucking obnoxious noise. It was gross and it was slow. But the only reason I had the internet at school was for research for papers. This was, oh my goodness, the second half of the 90s. So having that slow modem, and then they got T1, T2, T3 cable service, long history. It's been fun. You know, we went from having pay-as-you-go by the minute phones that could access the internet just barely, using it for MySpace to add shit to MySpace and get people to notice you and talk to you and be friends. And that was back when, like, you'd have MySpace friends and you'd do something with them in real life. It was super fun. But the importance of a free and open internet with restrictions on corporations to not limit our data usage, not limit the amount of things that we can do, not give us some kind of pay package where it's, oh, well, this is the streaming service line level. Well, what's going to happen is just like anything else. When you get a new dog, okay, per example, you get a new dog, and your new dog doesn't know what it's going to do, right? Your new dog, your new little puppy, has no clue how life works. So your new puppy pushes boundaries, and your new puppy is so happy, is so excited. And removing net neutrality and giving companies and corporations the ability to just do what they want is like not scolding your dog when he shits on the floor. Because what they're going to do, even Comcast came out and said, we will not throttle you, even though we can. We will not limit your access to websites, even though we can. Which is pedantic. It's pedantic, mindless bullshit that they're saying just to keep everyone satisfied. But they're going to. Absolutely. Absolutely. Go ahead and dig into countries that have removed net neutrality. What's happening? $4.99 a minute access to the internet. Right? Okay. All right. Well, you need to keep your bills down and you need to keep your cell phone. And you need to, send your emails for business and all that fun shit. Well, this isn't something where we should be suckling at a teat when we have the whole cow already. That's the thing. We have the whole cow already. And we've had the whole cow already. We don't need to suckle at the teat of regulation and legislation and this whole pay for what you need and blah, 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 blah. It's bullshit. 100% bullshit. And what it does is, under a mask of competitive prices and it'll instill competition. What it does is give everyone but you the power to control what you're digging into. You know what I mean? I know that's a weird statement. I'm staring at a pair of headphones across the table like there's somebody here. There's not. The issue is that if you go home and you use your Comcast subscription to pop on Netflix, well, all of a sudden they don't have to worry about you. They don't have to do shit. They could charge you whatever they'd like. And unless you're in their tiers, TIERS, not Tears in the Rain. Thanks, Blade Runner. Anyway, so if you're not on that specific tier, what are you going to do? We all have this newfound habit as 30-somethings of going home and turning on television or going home and turning on your phone and listening to something just in the background. It's background noise. It's wonderful. And we have all these fantastic things. But even barring that, consider the fact that VoIP exists. Okay? VoIP, I might actually have to Google this because I might not know that thing off the top of my head, is a method. You've seen it before in the old commercials. Yeah, voice over internet protocol. And what that means is that your cell phone calls are now data. They're data, and they're easily listened into, and they're easily using up plans. Suddenly you've got X amount of data because they removed net neutrality, and it's costing you 4 times as much as it is now because they can. And every time you make a phone call, important or unimportant, every time you send a text message, every time you fucking zap a photo over a friend or your mom or your grandma, whatever, it's going to cost you more. And that's not even the half of it. The issue with removing net neutrality is the idea that when somebody has the power to make a choice, for good or for ill, they're still going to make that choice. And right now they can't. Right now we are still in control as a people. And that's what's most important. This is the death throes of the FCC. This is the death throes of people who have finally come to terms with the fact that most voters are under the age of 50. Most voters aren't just prattle. They're not just, faceless numbers in a fucking line anymore. We're all very well educated on the political system, I would hope. But we're all engaged. We are exactly what we were supposed to be, according to the market model. We're an engaged American public. And what they're doing with this, in my personal opinion, with this removal of net neutrality, is taking us back into the dark ages. The dark ages when rural school systems didn't have internet access. When kids that were 100 miles outside of the nearest city didn't have even dial-up. they're removing the flow of information. And that's not acceptable, because as little or as much of the internet as you use, for whatever reason, it is the culmination of man's knowledge up until bam, that second, bam, that second, bam, that second. All of it. It's right there. All of it. Whether it be more dick pics, more nonsense, more important shit, more articles from Scientific American, more everything. It's there, and it's yours, and the access is there. We went from a time where high-speed internet access in rural locations was a miserable disaster. You couldn't walk outside of York without dropping phone calls, without losing all of your ability to communicate online. And what's going to happen is we're going to have schools that are going to go back to a place where, already in budgetary concerns, they're going to remove their ability to let even the most disparaged children financially have access to what everyone else has access to. And when that becomes a problem, which it already, the school systems across the United States are already in peril. And if you take away what is a tool, the tool that we built, the internet is something that we built through $400 billion of fucking private, public, whatever investment to give the infrastructure of data sharing, of data transferring, of data storage. All of that was paid out of pocket by you, whether you know it or not. And we're going to give up control of that to someone else who's going to decide for us how much of our paycheck we should dump to make sure that we can go home and watch TV, or go home and research British novelists and their methodology in an effort to make my rough draft of my next project not suck as much. It's going to remove our ability to do this, which we're not sitting in a room together. We're not. I wish we were. I love all of you very, very much. But the times that I do get to sit here on poolside and talk to interesting, wonderful, bright human beings that are independent musicians, where are they gonna, put their shit? How easy is it gonna be for you to find everything that you need? It's gonna cost you, I don't know, estimably $25 for that fucking Amazon purchase. And that's just the data usage that it takes to get on to fucking Amazon. Fill your shopping cart, press place order. This is not an effort of people to continue maintaining a life of lucid boredom, of dicking around on Facebook, of all that shit. It's removing the access to it and the power that we have to access all of that as a people. We absolutely cannot allow the repeal of net neutrality to happen. I'll lose the podcast. 100%. I don't make money with this thing. I couldn't give a shit that I don't make money with this thing. It's fun. It costs me $15 a month to do it. What's it going to cost me when we lose net neutrality? What's it going to cost everyone when we lose net neutrality? What's it going to cost grandma who can't get on and play Farmville? What's it going to cost that kid who needs to learn about Columbus or whatever other idle school project? What's it going to cost every homeowner in a school district when their taxes have to go up to measure against the amount of money that schools are paying for access to information? That's ours already. It's here. It's ours. And it needs to stay ours. Please, as a listener of Poolside Podcast, Sign every petition that you can. Call your congressman. Call everyone. Call the FCC. Please. There are a plethora of scripts that you can find online as to what to say to your congressman, your senator, your representative, your governor, everyone. This isn't us just crying out because we're going to lose access to Facebook. This is everyone crying out because we're going to lose access to each other. And it's important. It's more than important. It's more than everything, because at this point, our social ability has grown to a point where I can pick up my phone and talk to someone in Japan. I can pick up my phone and FaceTime with somebody in whatever country, all across the globe. And we need to maintain our power as a people over corporate influence and over the FCC. Fuck them. 100% fuck them. And guess what? If we don't do anything about this and we let the repeal of net neutrality happen, it's going to be good old wholesome, just like your grandma wanted back in 1952. We're going to lose it all. We're going to show the FCC that we have no spine, that they can do whatever the fuck they want, and they can take it all away from us because we weren't paying attention. Don't let this happen. Please, please, please help the fight against the repeal of net neutrality. I implore you, sincerely. That's all I got. That's all I got, folks. This is just a bonus. Go back, listen through the other episodes while they're still up. Honestly, if we lose net neutrality, it's not going to be easy for me to keep up. It's not going to be easy for me to maintain, and I'm sure that we're talking about 9-10 months down the road, whatever, when all the implements finally get into place. But this is your opportunity as a willful, soulful human being who sat and idolized every other generation in their big moment. This is our big moment. This is our big fuck you. 100%. Because I could say that 1,000 times. I could say that 1,000 times. But without a pointed edge or without a goal in mind, it doesn't go anywhere. This time it will. Help fight the repeal of net neutrality. We need it. We need it 100%, because most of us are still reeling from the idea that the future is here, but the future is still near. And the only way that we can change it, and the only way that we can show that we truly are a people of our own, no matter what, a people that are destined and determined to make sure that everyone can easily access answers and understanding, is to fight this 100%. So, happy late Thanksgiving, motherfuckers. Just kidding. I'm leaving that in, though. It's funny. No, but seriously, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It's been fun. I mean, this has been... I have a long weekend, so of course I'm getting a little introspective. It's what I do when I have this much free time. But I really appreciate everybody. We're about to cross over 3,100 total downloads. Thanks. You guys are fucking rad. It's been since July. It's 5 months. And, you know, stuff like this is important, and times to actually sit down and talk to everybody. They're fucking fantastic. We got another episode coming up for next Wednesday. And that's about it. I've been kind of lazy lately. I had a really big pop for the Halloween season, and those months, August and September, were definitely August, September, October, really fucking kicked it into high gear. And it's been fun. And I am, of course, working on something else. I'm always working on something else. I got a photography project, too, that I prefer you don't look at. That's fine. It's secret. Everything's secret. But there is new shit coming, and it's all out there, and there's new shit going on. There's consistently fantastic shit that's going on. Go check it out. It's been wonderful. So, yeah. All right. That's all I got to say. We'll see you guys Wednesday. I have somebody, I can't remember their name right now. Either way, I have a guest on Wednesday. That is the last episode for November, more than obviously, because the December comes Friday. Holy hell, dudes. It's going to be Christmas soon. All that fun stuff. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all those other fun holidays that we implemented to save ourselves from the darkness and loneliness of winter. It's great. It's coming. Smile. All that fun stuff. All right. See you guys. Tell all your friends. Tell your mom. Share the fucking shit out of this episode and listen to the end. Because you can. You know? Whatever. See ya.